Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Kaitlin, and for this week's video I have something very fun planned. It is no secret that our generation has a serious problem with our phones. We are so addicted to them. We can literally not do anything without having our phones with us, whether it's going to the bathroom or going outside. Like literally we have such a problem with our phones, and I am no exception to that. I think probably from a lot of people I know, I probably spend less time on my phone because I read so much, but I still spend a lot of time on my phone and I really want to change that. So for this week's video, I was thinking we could swap my screen time for reading time. I've really been wanting to read more and more, and even though I have been getting that right, I still spend so much time wasted on my phone, where if it's scrolling through TikTok, checking Instagram, watching YouTube, and even though it's little times during the day, it might be 10 minutes here or 10 minutes there, I spend on average 2 hours a day wasting my time on my phone. Imagine what I could be doing with 2 extra hours. We always complain that we do not have enough time in our day to do something productive or do something that we've always wanted, whether that's starting a new hobby or, for me, reading more. So I thought I could make a video where for an entire week I'm going to be swapping out my screen time for reading. So like I said, on average I spend about 2 hours a day that I spend on my phone, and now I'm going to be spending those 2 hours of my day just reading. I'm going to be timing it on my phone, and I'm going to see if I can work through my TBR for this month. On average, I would say I can read 1 or 2 books in a week, depending on how fast paced the book is or how interested I am in the book and how long the books are. So that is sort of the idea for this week's video. So I have 3 books here that I would like to get through. I don't know if we're going to get through all 3, but I want to at least get through 2 of them in this video at least. So the first one we have is You and Me on Vacation from Emily Henry. I do think this is my favorite cover of one of her books so far. My favorite color is pink, so this being basically all pink all over, I absolutely adore this cover. She's really getting me into my romance era. Like, I absolutely love these books. I think they spend each summer together. Every summer something happens, and then this summer basically they want to realize, or are they just friends, or is there something more between them? So I think that's going to be quite a nice book to read. I always love my Emily Henry books, so I'm really excited to get through that one. And also it usually takes me about 2 or 3 days to read this book, so I have high hopes that we can get through more than one book this week. The other book I want to read is also a pink one. It's Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I don't know much about this book. All I think basically the premise of the book is Evangeline, our main character, is in love with someone and then he marries someone else, so she makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts to try and stop the wedding because the guy she's in love with is marrying someone else, and then basically there are obviously consequences to her wanting to stop the wedding and making a deal with the Prince of Hearts. That is all I know from this book. So we've got a nice romantasy and a romance this week that we are going to be reading. Then my other book that I am busy with is A Court of Frost and Starlight. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be counting reading this book as the 2 hours of my day. Like I said earlier in the video, I do read a lot during the day and then still spend 2 hours on my phone. So those specific 2 hours I'm going to try and get through these books, and then just when I'm like out somewhere or I have quick 5 minutes to read something, I will probably be reading A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is book number 4 in the ACOTAR series. I'm at chapter 5. It's really nice because we're getting definitely multiple POVs in this book, and I do think it's kind of setting up the next and final book of the ACOTAR series so far, which is A Court of Silver Flames, which I believe is Nesta and Cassian's story. So you can definitely see there's much more of Cassian in this book, and you can definitely see it's sort of setting up the next book. It's a fun read actually, because you know the characters so well by now that it's more like the intricacies and the relationships between all the characters. So that's really nice. So yeah, these are the 3 books that I want to read in this week, and I'm just going to take you along with me. We're going to try and read 2 hours every single day, and then yeah, just see how we go. I have about 20 minutes before I have to get ready to leave for work, so I thought we could start so long with this challenge because I'm really excited to start reading You and Me on Vacation from Emily Henry. I'm gonna set a stopwatch and then we're gonna start it now, and then I'll just stop it throughout the day when I go to work and then start it again this afternoon when we get home. It is closing in on 9 o'clock right now and we are almost at 3 hours. I know I said I only wanted to read 2 hours today, but this book is so good. I am almost halfway. I'm at 160 pages. It's unbelievably good. I'm just like so excited and I'm so drawn into this book. I am so tired and I have a really big day tomorrow at work, but you know what, am I going to sit now and read some more? Yes, probably I am. I'm not going to be updating you guys on all of my thoughts. I think I'll save that for tomorrow. We might be actually able to finish this book tomorrow. I'm very hopeful. If I got literally halfway, we might finish it between tonight and then tomorrow. But like I said, I am absolutely loving it. But for right now, I'm gonna read this, go to bed, and then I'll check in with you again tomorrow. Hi guys, it's actually the next day and I finished it. I ended up reading for about 4.5 hours last night and making it to like 3/4 of the book, I would say, and I just couldn't put it down. It was so good, and you have this suspense throughout the whole book that just really wants you to read to figure out what happens in the book, and you really don't want to put it down. So I've been so excited and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and when I got home from work today, the first thing I did was sit on my bed and finish this book. So I'm actually at about 1 hour and 40 minutes of reading for today. So we still have about 20 minutes in which I'll probably start the next book of the series. But I did want to like recap quickly on this book to tell you what it's about without giving you spoilers, but I more or less understand it now. So basically we follow our 2 main characters who are best friends. It's very much past and present, so you have the present tense in what's going on in their lives right now, and then every chapter or so you are kind of transformed back into one of their summer holidays, because basically they have about 10 summers together and they go on holiday, and you follow them throughout their life and how their relationship changes and how they both have relationships with other people throughout their lives, and eventually, you know, figure out like we're in love with each other. So very much friends to lovers, slow burn, also a bit of like a second chance romance. I have never really enjoyed friends to lovers before, but this was so well done and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and our 2 main characters were epic. The whole story was great. I didn't really like the third act conflict that much, but still absolutely loved it. Will most definitely recommend this book. Emily Henry has come through yet again, and I'm just like, after this book, I'm convinced I might just be a romance reader from now on. So I'll give it a 5 stars. I really just thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's all I really have to say on this book. I didn't really expect to finish a book on my second day into this video, so we might very possibly be finishing 3 books in this video if the trend continues of me finishing a book every second day. And I've gone into a very like analytical mind because I'm timing how long I'm reading. I'm timing like in an hour I read this amount of pages, so that which means I read this amount of pages in 1 minute, which means if I read this amount of pages in a minute, I read this amount of pages in 1 hour, which means if I read 2 hours a day, I'm going to read this much, and then which means I'll be able to finish these amount of books if I read this much every single day. And I've just gone in a spiral of like mathematically equating how much I'm reading rather than just enjoying the experience of reading. So that's been quite funny. But anyways, I got sidetracked there. Seeing as we are on day 2, we've already finished one book. We will be starting on the next book, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I think I said kind of in the beginning what the premise sort of is about this book. I don't really know. So, ooh, they've got cute little things in this. Look at how pretty that is. Yeah, we're basically gonna start. I'll probably only start it like later on in the evening because I do have an event I'm going to tonight, so I'll probably start it tonight. Like I said, I have like 20 minutes left to read today, and then I'll start in on this book. But I'm really like happy with my reading progress we've had. Last month I read quite a few books that I enjoyed, but I didn't read a lot of books. I feel there were at least a week or two during the month where I didn't even touch a book. And now with having to film every single day and having to time every single day of how much I read, I'm reading a lot more. So thank you guys for keeping me accountable. But anyways, I have rambled on long enough now. We're going to go straight into some fantasy. I made a cup of tea because I felt like we had some things to talk about. So it's currently day 4 of this reading challenge. And yes, I am wearing the same shirt as I did yesterday because this has become my new favorite shirt. So there's that. And yesterday I was super busy and I wasn't really in the reading mood. So I only managed 40 minutes of the 2 hours. So the plan for today was kind of to read 3.5 hours to kind of make up for the time that I had missed yesterday. And it's currently 9 p.m. I've read 40 minutes today. So that's not going great. Anyways, let's talk about the book. We are about 100 pages in. I was extremely excited. Okay, I absolutely loved the cover, which is hence why I bought it. And I've seen some really good reviews and a lot of people said like it was a lovely like romantasy book and just great. Okay, I don't like it. I'm not a fan so far. I think that's also why I've been struggling to read, is because I'm not as excited to read the book I'm currently supposed to be reading. Whereas the other day I literally read for 4.5 hours because I enjoyed You and Me on Vacation so incredibly much. Like I couldn't put it down. It was so great. Where with this book, I have to force myself to pick it up. I think that's sometimes what can lead to reading slumps, is because you know, you're reading a book that you really don't enjoy. I was sitting downstairs earlier and I was reading, and my brother was on the other couch also reading, and I kind of just sighed and said, oh, I really don't like this book, like I just can't get into it. And he said, just put it down, like read something else. And my first reaction was like, no, I can't do that, I have to finish this, because like I spent money on this book, I'm filming a video, like I have to finish this book. And he's like, just read something else. You know, for him it was so simple. Will I continue to read the book? Yes, I will suffer through it because I have high hopes, okay? I have hopes that there is something to this book. So far, we're standing at about a 3 stars. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I find the story very confusing. There's a new love interest every 5 seconds. Like first this person is the love of her life and then he's suddenly gone, and then it's someone else, and then oh, she's trying to fall in love with someone else, and then she goes here and then here. and I feel like some of the chapters are extremely descriptive, like they have so many descriptive things about this specific thing, and then the next chapter you have no idea where you are because there's literally no description. I'm just so confused, and I feel like it's hopping. It doesn't quite know what the storyline is. Like I know I'm only 100 pages in, but usually by now you've understood the storyline, that like the main premise of the story, where I honestly feel like there's 4 potential different storylines of where this book can go, and I have no idea where it's going. I am going to get in bed and see how much I can still read today. Like I said, the goal for today was to catch up on yesterday's that I didn't read, so like reading an extra hour and 20 minutes. I've read 40 minutes. I don't even know if I can get to today's 2 hours. The problem is with this, it's like when I'm struggling with a book, my first thing is like, okay, let me chill, let me go on my phone, you know, because that's like our comfort zone. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, you go on your phone. And to be honest, my phone just makes me even more overwhelmed. All that information going into your brain the whole time, I can't imagine that that is good for us at all. I think I fool myself by thinking going on my phone makes me relaxed, but really it doesn't. It makes me just as overwhelmed, and at least when I read a book I feel somewhat productive, whereas if I'm on my phone I just feel absolutely useless, like I've done nothing. But then at the same time I yearn for a book that is just so amazing, like you can't put it down, like the ACOTAR series, or even Powerless. Even for all the flaws that Powerless has, I still enjoy that book so much. And even like Reckless as well, or You and Me on Vacation, any Emily Henry book that I've read recently, like it's so good. Whereas this book just doesn't do it for me, and I'm so disappointed because I was really excited. And that's always the thing, like I don't buy a lot of books. Growing up I read a lot of books on my phone, or you know, on my Kindle, because it was just cheaper. And so I've always been very selective about the books that I actually buy in physical form, because I feel like if I'm going to spend all that money, literally store it in my space, then it has to be worth it. And I had such high hopes for this one. I was so sure that I was going to love it, that I bought it, and then I don't. Like maybe it'll get better, maybe. I mean, there's almost 400 pages, and I think there's a second book as well, so maybe it leads into something. But so far, like I said, I can't even figure out what the storyline of the book is. That's how confusing it is to me. But anyways, like I said, I've read 40 minutes today. I'm going to go get into my pajamas, get into bed. I'll probably update you guys again when I've gotten a bit further into this book.
And another thing I forgot to mention earlier is that he calls her pet. Like, he'll say something and then he's like, my pet, like, are you ready, my pet? What? Excuse me, sir. Absolutely not. No, you will not be calling me that. What? And another thing as well is, between a lot of the characters, like now and then, on one page they'll be absolute enemies and hate each other, and on the next page they're best friends, and nothing really happened to change their relationship, or you know, change the way they think about each other. Like no event happened, it just suddenly changes, like they're just best friends now. I don't understand, guys.
Hopes and dreams I had for this book was absolutely crushed, destroyed. Right now, I think that this book was a waste of money, time, and the brain capacity to try and figure out what the heck this book was about. If anybody actually liked this book, please remember, like, reading is subjective, we can like different things. But if anybody has read this book, understood it, and enjoyed it, let me know down in the comments below what it was trying to say, because I tried for 4 days to read this and to comprehend what was going on. I didn't. There are a few issues that I have had with this book. First of all, what was the plot line? I don't understand what the plot line was. I don't understand what the goal of the book was. There was zero plot. There was a few storylines that kind of changed or were unanswered. It keeps mentioning some big event that happened at the beginning of the book, but it never actually explained the event that happened. It's so very confusing. Also, the main character is extremely naive, and her perception of the other characters are very flawed. I think maybe the author was trying to write the book in a way of how our main character sees it, like, and write the characters how our main character sees it, and through that writes a very naive interpretation of the characters and how they're suddenly good guys or suddenly trusting, and then, you know, come back to stab you in the back type of thing. So maybe the author was trying to write it in a book of, like, it was coming from the point of view of the main character, of she's naive, and so she believes that she can trust the other characters. I don't think it was done in a very good way. Like, really, I'm struggling to comprehend what I'm actually supposed to say about this book, because I don't want to be mean. I think, you know, writing a book, coming up with something, writing a book, publishing a book is an extraordinary thing. And sometimes people are going to like your books, sometimes people are not going to like your books. And it's not that I didn't like the book. I really wanted to. I tried so hard. I had so much hope. And there were even a few chapters where I thought, okay, this is going somewhere, like maybe this, you're going to find out what the story is about. And then at the end, it completely fell flat again. Like, it's just confusing to me. I do not understand what it was trying to say. Like, what the plot line was, what the point of the book was, I don't know. And then on top of that, vampires. Vampires was suddenly introduced at the end of this book. I have no problem with vampires, okay? Like, love Twilight, Vampire Diaries, absolutely ate that up as a teenager. Like, I loved it, okay? Love a good vampire story. But what was it doing in this book? Okay, the one guy was supposed to turn into a vampire and then he just didn't. I don't think the vampire lore is up to standard, up to par quite there. Like, I just don't think that it was necessary for the book. Once again, I'm just so confused. I am absolutely so confused. I really didn't enjoy it, absolutely not. I have actually on my Goodreads given it a 1 star, which seems very, very harsh, but it made me angry. It wasn't nice to read. I wasn't relaxed reading this book. Like, it made me anxious and it just made me angry, and I really wanted to put it down, but I wanted to finish it for this video, so I did. I gave it 1 star. No. I don't know if it even, like, deserves a place on my shelf. Those are sort of my last thoughts on the book. I really have nothing else to say except that I didn't enjoy it and I wouldn't recommend it. But once again, reading is subjective, and maybe you liked it and that's completely fine. I just didn't like it. It didn't fall into my taste. I probably won't read the second one. I'm not going to put myself through that torture again. But anyways, let's move on. Filming this video was actually quite jarring because the first book I absolutely loved so much and I gave it 5 stars, and then the second book I absolutely hated it and gave it 1 star. It's funny how much books can differ, and I haven't filmed the last couple of days really as much as I did in the beginning of the week starting filming this video, because I was so frustrated and I just wanted to get it over and done with. I even now and then, like, I was reading Harry Potter just to get, like, you know, read the 2 hours a day, because I just needed a book that was written well. Like, Harry Potter is absolutely amazing. Can there be some sort of story that is written in the way that Harry Potter was, but for adults? Like, Harry Potter is an incredible children's story. I've watched the movie millions of times. Literally came out when I was born and, like, I was growing up, so I've watched the movie so many times. I've read the books almost 3 times now. It's just so incredible. Like, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so I may have read some of that during this week just to kind of, you know, try and not get into a reading slump, because I wanted to throw that book across the room at one stage. Like, if I had picked that up as a non-reader, I would have decided reading is not for me, and I don't like reading. Oh, I don't even know what I'm gonna read next, because I also read a little bit of I think it's A Court of Frost and Starlight, the 5th book in the ACOTAR series. I think I spoke about that in the beginning of this vlog as well. I've read maybe 2 or 3 chapters, but even that I couldn't get back into it. Like, I was so angry about the other book that I just needed a break. But anyways, so I did really enjoy this whole experiment of swapping my screen time for reading. That was really cool, and I loved like reading 2 hours a day, especially with the first book. It was so much fun, and I could just get lost in the book, and it was so relaxing to me. So I'll be looking for more books like that. But then in the end of this video, like I said, I was just so angry and annoyed that I really didn't enjoy it. So I think for the rest of the month, I'll probably stick to mood reading some books and really only read them if I enjoy them, to stop myself from getting into a reading slump. Other than that was the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I would highly recommend You and Me on Vacation. Or I've also seen, I think it's in America, it's called People We Meet on Vacation, and in the UK it's You and Me on Vacation. I don't know why it has different titles. I know it has different book covers. I don't know why it has different titles too. But I really enjoyed that, and I gave that 5 stars. And then Once Upon a Broken Heart, I gave 1 star. Didn't enjoy that, wouldn't recommend that. But you can read whatever you want. And let me know your thoughts down below if you've read any one of these 2 books. I would love to hear what you thought about them. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, as it does help out my channel quite a lot. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.